Howdy, friends. I know, Mars, I know that like normally at the beginning, that little intro, it's like tap for sound, so it's normally mute, but like that song slaps. Like I'm literally
It does
back here
slap.
like dancing. I don't know. I hope everyone else enjoys it in the chat as much as I do because I fucking love that theme song.
It slaps.
How are you doing today?
Sleepy. Always sleepy.
Yeah.
Always sleepy, always violent.
Ooh, they go hand in hand, right?
They do.
I want to know how the chat is doing on this Sunday morning. I'm going to go ahead and say hello to some of you folks. Hello to our friend Josue in the chat. Read my comics this week. Can't wait for church.
It is church.
It is church. And then hello to one of our favorite people in the world, Travis TM Nerdy. Thank you so much for being here. And then, Brandon's got a question for us. What's your GA pitch for an ongoing? What's GA? Like
Green Arrow?
Oh, what's your Green Arrow pitch for an ongoing? Okay, so maybe creative team and it's funny, I have thoughts about this. Okay, who is writing, drawing it? We'll get back to this in a second. Hello to Rob. We have thoughts on Mother of Madness, and I know you had specifically asked me about this. Got into it a little bit on Hero and the Kid, but we're going to talk about that more. The best out there. Aw, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And hello to Sam's Tangled Web. Thank you for being here. Hello to Stephen Hayner. Thank you for being here. And hello to John Thomas. Good morning. Ready for today's sermon. I feel like we should have like our equivalent of like a Hail Mary. Is that like a something?
Hail Mary.
A Hail Mary and
I feel like it's hear me out.
Hear me out. Yours is hear me out. Mine is here's the thing. So hear me out about the thing.
I love this.
Everyone says hi to each other in the chat, and I love it so much. Hello to Dank Comics. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Hello to Tylox the Mighty. Thank you for being here. Seeing, and then hello to another local Portland friend, Scott. Hello, good morning. Sandwich. I just see sandwich. Sandwich made. I am here. Okay, yes. Thank you. I've got donuts. For any of you Portlanders, I got Blue Star donuts this morning, so very excited for that. They're key lime custard. Maybe, just maybe, you might get a treat, and I may go run and get them, and you can watch me consume them on live. I don't know. I know people are into that.
I can't with you.
You can Venmo me a couple bucks for that. And then hello to Fable as well. Thank you for being here. Alrighty. I think that's pretty much everyone in the chat that I saw. I think it maybe skipped. I do want to address this Green Arrow question. It's so funny. I don't think that I mentioned it last week at the beginning, but I literally had a dream that I was at Starbucks and that I was running late for work and Tom King was in Starbucks. And I was like, and like the people around me were like, Tom King, like he's writing Green Arrow. And I'm like, what? Tom King is writing Green Arrow. I need to tell Mars immediately. I also need to maybe apologize to Tom King for talking trash about him all the time. So like in my dream, that's, Tom King, I'm sorry for talking trash a lot, but I'm excited that you're writing Green Arrow in my dream. I like had to tell you about this. I'm like,
which I think is ironic because I don't think I would want Tom King to write Green Arrow. Can I toss aside a Tom King and ask for a Tom Taylor on Green Arrow?
I think Tom Taylor would have that like the fun, and Tom Taylor would definitely like he's really good at writing, I think, groups of people and like teams. So,
and that's where I was getting to. So hear me out.
Hear
me out. I just want a Green Arrow family book again, okay? I don't ask for a lot in my life. Let Green Arrow be a fun, cool, hippie dad again. Give him back Connor Hawke. Give him Ray Harper. Give him Leanne Harper. Give him Mia Dearden. I just want... Can I get Judd Winnick back on Green Arrow? I would take Judd Winnick back on Green Arrow. I know that that's not going to happen because him and DC have quite a lot of bad blood. But, that's all I want out of a Green Arrow book. Let me be honest with you. Benjamin Percy's run for Rebirth kind of hit that spot, but nothing will ever come close to the Judd Winnick run, and that's just how I feel about it.
Mm. Do you think that in a modern interpretation, do you think that Green Arrow would be in an our boy Oliver Queen? Do you think he'd be in an open relationship? I feel like he would have relationship anarchy for sure.
That's hard to say because Oliver is a cheater, so I don't want to say yes.
Mm. Well,
But
cheating's different than an open relationship, so
cheating is different than an open relationship, absolutely. But he also has this problem of just focusing on one woman. So I feel like he has a problem with focusing on one woman. He's going to have a problem with focusing on multiple people. I just know that that's how my boy is. He's pretty awful, but I still love him. Now, Black Canary absolutely would be in an open relationship.
Oh, okay.
Wait a second. Judd Winnick wrote a story in Superman Red and Blue. Hold on. This is a revelation. You're telling me Judd Winnick wrote a story in Superman Red and Blue, which that's great. Now I got to track that down. But he did not write a story for the Green Arrow 80th anniversary.
Oh.
What is going? I need help.
Maybe that's where the salt, the salt ends. The salt starts.
Salt starts. Maybe we're healing. Maybe the earth is healing, and Judd Winnick is slowly going to return to us.
The earth is healing again. Well, we are going to talk some comics today. I know we've got some beef with comic book creators we're going to get into a little bit.
Do we have some beef?
I know that you have some particular beef it's funny because you're like, I want to talk about this. And I'm like, let's do it. All of us, we choose violence here in this house. Let's go ahead and talk about who we're choosing beef against.
And it's also hilarious because this really did come out of left field with me choosing to beef about it. So I was on Twitter and I've been getting some interactions on some tweets that I made over a year ago about a book written by the wonderful and lovely Brian Azzarello. Now, if you are a fan of our channel and you know me in particular, you know that comment was dripping with sarcasm, and Brian Azzarello can suck dicks in a field at night. I don't know.
He can suck them from the back.
So
sorry.
Last year, there was a book released by DC Black Label. It was an oversized one-shot for Birds of Prey, written by Brian Azzarello. First of all, why is Brian Azzarello getting to write a Birds of Prey book? Second of all, why is Brian Azzarello getting allowed to write a Black Label book for the Birds of Prey? It just makes no sense. Zero sense. Long story short, the book was awful. The book was racist. The book was sexist. But not only that, but in the book, there is a character featured by the name of Lord Byron, who, if you've read the Black Canary run by Annie Wu and Brendan Fletcher, was a non-binary Black character that was part of Black Canary's band, ended up being one of her best friends. And in the Black Label book, again, written by Brian Azzarello, Mr. Azzarello thought it would be okay and entertaining and engaging to kill said non-binary Black character by a drug overdose, and not only kill them by a drug overdose, but have Black Canary basically say, I'm not going to come help you in your time of need. I'm going to go get laid and be sad, and you're going to die. And it came back up this morning, and I kept thinking about it, and it makes me, maybe it's an alternate universe, but it's like, what the hell was going through DC editorial's heads? What was going through Brian Azzarello's heads? All I can think of is I tried putting myself in the mind of Brendan Fletcher, because me and Brendan Fletcher were actually really, really close. We talk. We're friends.
I love it. Sorry, I just have to pause you there for like 1 second, because like the people that you're like, yeah, like we're tight. Like I talk with this person. I'm like, how do you do that? Like, I love it. Sorry, I love these stories.
We hang out at conventions, and I mean, my friendship with Brendan Fletcher came from my love and mild obsession of his Black Canary book, and it kind of evolved from there. But I've heard the way that he talks about his story and the way that he talks about the characters that he created with Annie, and how the book started off as one thing and then devolved into another because of Dan Didio and because of DC editorial. And now it feels like another stab in the back that one of his characters, and Brendan Fletcher's, while he is a white man, he is one of those people that strives for diversity, strives for queer characters and women of color. I mean, look at Motor Crush, another book that he's famous for, which features a Black woman of color. So, you know, this happened during the pandemic, and I just think, you know, of him stumbling onto that book or stumbling onto like my Twitter or something and seeing that his character has been, I'm going to call it this, murdered. His character was murdered.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed as shit, you know? And I hate the fact that we've been so quiet about it. Even when the book came out, people didn't, unless you were me screaming about it, not enough people held Brian accountable for what happened. And I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me.
It's funny how those things, and I think that that was the same time that like Faithless started coming out. I didn't read that Birds of Prey book. I lost my girl Mars, but okay. So I wasn't reading Black Canary at the time. Add to stream. Okay. Oops. So no worries. So I wasn't reading that book at the time, so I couldn't necessarily like tell you what's going on. And you know me, like those aren't the characters that I'm typically driven towards. Like you obviously like are insanely knowledgeable about all these characters, so like you can take me to comic book school with these. So it's really interesting. And to your point, not only did it have to get past like outside of a writer's mind, it had to be like put on a page, given to editorial,
and approved,
given to an artist, and like all these people basically working on it like put their like seal of approval on it. Like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. And I think to your point a little bit, the argument of, well, it's an alternative universe. Like it's not the main one. Like that still feels shitty.
It is shitty. And I didn't want to come across and be like, this was the first non-binary character in DC Comics history, because I'm pretty sure that there were characters before Lord Byron, and I'm pretty sure that Ragdoll might fall on that non-binary spectrum.
Ragdoll, I think, kind of does. I think that maybe their different language at the time was being used, where now we would identify that character. You know, that character would identify. They would.
But here's the thing: we don't have enough queer comic characters in DC, let alone non-binary characters. So the fact that you're taking what is maybe less than 10 characters that fall under that representation and not only killing them off, but killing them off in such, I feel like, a harmful way, because I feel like killing a character off via drug overdose, you prove that person's life doesn't matter and that they don't care about themselves and they're not happy with their life, you know?
Yeah. I'm really curious. So Dank, like, I'm not a huge fan of Lena Dunham. I've just never really liked their stuff. What was it? Girls was the show. I actually fucking hated that show. And my partner loved it. I don't get it. But I'm really curious what Lena Dunham had said. I don't know about her comments. She said, dehumanizing things that speaks to the fears of Black folks being objectified. She said it was written, edited. Huh. I would really love to see more about that, because like I said, Lena Dunham's not really on my like radar that much, but Odell Beckham Jr. Very curious about that. But I think you're right, and I think that that's why we do need more representation, like at all levels. Like it can't just be in characters; it needs to be on the editorial. It needs to be writing. It needs to be artists who are doing that as well. Because I think at that point, someone would have stopped and been like, "Nope, let's not do this."
Nope.
It would have been that meme where the dude's like,
I don't know. I know it's like, why bring up something that's a year old, but you know, Brian Azzarello. Well, Brian Azzarello is getting 2 new Black Label books. He's getting Let's Get the Joke, Suicide Squad, Let's Get the Joker, and then I believe the other one is Batman The World, which is also by Lee Bergermo. So another Batman Damn sequel, which, by the way, was also awful, and Harley Quinn attempted to rape Batman. So there's your proof here on out that Brian Azzarello should just not write women, should not write queer characters, should not write people of character. I mean, I personally would love it if Brian Azzarello just stopped writing in general, but we're not going to get that. So
we're not going to get that.
We're not going to get it.
Speaking of, so I do want to go ahead and say, since we talked about Batman and we talked about or we talked about DC Black Label, I keep pitching this idea to you. I'm here to write Batman Year 18, barely legal. and like I'll give you some pearl necklaces. I think I want to do Batman year 69 and get like an Alfred story in there, like really get it in there. So hashtag hear me out, DC Black
Hashtag
Label.
hear me out.
Give the people what they want.
Hashtag Mars manifestation.
Mars manifestation. Speaking of writers who just seem to not be able, here's my thing. The comic book Twitter kind of blew up this week because it was talking about a particular writer, Rick Remender, not paying the artist for Scumbag. I can't think of the artist's name off the top of my head. That's why I have it here, Louis LaRosa. Apparently Louis LaRosa didn't get paid like royalties or got like paid very, very minimum for doing the work on Scumbag, which is actually one of Rick Remender's hottest titles for whatever fucking reason, because
isn't it the top selling title #1 that he's done?
I think that maybe some of his more like Marvel stuff has done better.
Well, I'm talking about like indie in terms of his indie #1s.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, it could be said like Deadly Class is obviously like been a long running series, and I think that that's ultimately more like successful in the long term, but that's with this, you know, how long has that been out? So
but yeah, not only
yeah,
I was gonna say, not only did he not share the royalties with his artist, but he blocked him on Twitter. And I'm so confused by the whole situation. So I was with my partner when I saw the tweets, and I'm sitting there and I'm trying to explain it, and I'm like, how do you block your creator on Twitter? This isn't like hear me out. This is not like a big two book. A big two book where, you know, typically with big two books, if you don't know, an editor is the one that comes up with the idea. Sometimes a writer might pitch something, but 9 times out of 10, an editor is the one that ultimately comes up with the idea and then goes and finds the talent, and they find a writer and they find an artist and they get paired up. Whereas with indie books, this is your idea. This is your vision. You have to come up with this idea together and collaborate. And yet you're going to block your collaborator on Twitter. That's like if Fiona Staples blocked Brian K. Vaughan.
Well,
like, it just doesn't happen.
I think that the artist ended up leaving the book early because of medical issues. So I think that there was something like that where they knew that they were no longer going to be the artist, but then just haven't.
It's just it's still insanity to me though that you block your artist on Twitter. And then when everybody's trying to come at you, because there's a bunch of writers and a bunch of artists that are in solidarity with the original artist of Scumbag, which I'm not reading. And to be honest, I know I don't want to say hate, because hate's a strong word, but you strongly dislike Rick Remender before.
I did. And here's the thing is that I truly feel, and this is, you know, just me, you know, I don't do much comic book speculation here, but this is where I do the speculating, is I think about the creators, and like just based on the way that Rick Remender like creates his just really shitty characters, like his characters, not necessarily that they're like poorly written, like they're just really shitty, like honestly, like Scumbag characters in these like just bleak settings. I get that, but I really feel like Rick Remender must be like drawing on something where it's like he either has like intense father issues, and or he hates his wife and has cheated on his wife and is like manifesting that like in his books. Like that's what he's manifesting. And I mean, I'm not here, you know, I know people heal and people, you know, do things on their own timeline, but like therapy is a thing. Maybe that's the solution. I don't know. Yes. Robbie, we are talking about the Remender LaRosa stuff. And like Rick Remender, I hate Rick Remender. I loved Black Science when it came out. I really did like Low. And then after rereading it, I'm like, I just really feel like Rick Remender either has cheated on his wife and he's like writing these characters in those books that way, or he really, really wants to. And he's like, dude.
Which one is worse? Which one is better?
Ooh,
I don't know. The only Rick Remender book that I haven't read a lot. I have Deadly Class on my shelf, and I had always intended to read that. JK. Also, if anybody would like a copy of Deadly Class Volume 1 for like $3, I'll sell it to you right now. But I really did like his original title from Image, Death or Glory. I remember really enjoying it, and maybe it was because I liked Bengal's art more. But I'm not saying that I'm selling a volume 1 of Death or Glory, but if anybody would like to buy volume 1 for Death or Glory, my DMs are open, and they'll probably go towards the payment of his Artist on Scumbag. So
right, like and that's you know, a really good point. And like the reason why like this channel is called Comics Will Break Your Heart. I think about these creators, and especially all of these creators like Jack Kirby and like Bill Finger, who did immense work for this industry, and ultimately, like, one, didn't get the credit. At the end of the day, fuck credit, pay me. Like, these artists didn't get paid, these creators didn't get paid for the work that they did, and especially thinking about these like billion-dollar fucking franchises. And I know we mentioned a couple weeks ago about how someone like Jim Starlin, like, how many fucking like Thanos statues do I have up here? And does Jim Starlin get shit for any of those? No.
I was going to say, it's pretty bad when 2 weeks running right now, we have to have this conversation of pay your creators.
Yeah, it's 2021. Pay your creators. Pay your creators. Pay your sex workers. That's the train that I'm on. Just pay people.
Pay livable wages. That's all I ask for, really.
Yeah. Yep. You know, there's some other fun stuff that came out this week. Or know what?
We did have the Eisners. The Eisners finally came out, and
almost forgot it for the third fucking time.
Third time.
This morning, I messaged Mars, and I'm like, hey, like, these are some things I want to talk about. And I went ahead and like did the thumbnail. And you're like, Eisners, and I'm like, fuck, I forgot. And then I tweeted, listed all these things, forgot the Eisners again, and I literally just forgot the Eisners once again. In case you didn't know, the Eisners are like the comic book award, I would say.
It's the Grammys for comics.
It's the Grammys.
I'm trying to pull up the winners. Because there's some ones that I'm very, very happy about. There's one in particular I'm very, very upset about. You know what? I'm just going to talk about the one I'm really, really upset about.
Ooh.
Why the fuck didn't Barbalian win for Best Limited Series?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Let me go ahead and I have some of them.
Y'all are gonna let Jimmy Olsen listen. Jimmy Olsen was a good book.
Listen, it was
my pal
so
Jimmy
good,
Olsen was a good book. But Barbalian is one of the most influential queer comics. Not only just queer, but just one of the most influential comics in the past 40 million years. I don't even care. Jean Lune Yang did get lots of love for Superman Smashes the Klan, which, by the way, if you have not read Superman Smashes the Klan, please do. It's Superman beating up the Klan, and it's child-friendly, so you can give it to your children.
I do want to say, because I feel like there's a lot of people who are like, man, social justice warriors coming in to ruin Superman. This is an adaptation based on an original story. So anyone who's like, man, Superman smashing the Klan is irrelevant. It's not, and it's cool. Fuck you, it's an Eisner Award winner.
It's an Eisner Award winner. So
at the end of the day, though, like I you know, do awards talk about quality? No, they're a popularity thing, but they do mean a lot. They really, really mean a lot. And that's why we're talking about them.
And especially to creators, you see that this is an Eisner Award winning creator, and they're ultimately going to get more books. So we'll kind of run through. We won't run through all the categories because there is a lot, but we'll talk about the highlights of the winners. So best continuing series, we got Usagi Yojimbo, which I've never read Usagi Yojimbo, but good for you, I guess.
I've read a couple issues of it, and I think that where it's not like a bad series, I just feel like it's not as relevant as a lot of other stuff.
Best limited series, we got Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, but in my heart, it was Barbarian Red Planet,
which did get nominated.
Which did get nominated. It got nominated. It got nominated alongside Decorum, Far Sector, Strange Adventures, and Superman Pals Jimmy Olsen. Listen, I also would have been really happy if Far Sector had won that award. I don't think Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen really deserved it, but we'll circle back to Superman and his pal. Best new series, Black Widow by Kelly Thompson and Elena Casagrande.
That's very exciting.
I have been preaching since the birth of this channel. Please read Black Widow, because it is one of the best ongoing series right now. And it's so wonderful. And it's great. Also, I just realized We Live was nominated for Best Limited Series and did not win. So why couldn't that win? I don't know. I'm just mad about that category.
Yeah.
I'm mad about that category. Best Writer, we all knew it was going to go to James Tynion IV. Like, let's be honest. The man is everywhere right now and is doing such consistent things.
I think that I like that choice. I do think that Rom V deserves to be there. Like, you all know,
Rom V deserves to be nominated, and he wasn't.
And he wasn't even nominated. And granted, I know that one of his books, Blue and Green, which was my favorite book of 2020, did end up getting nominated and won for
Best Multimedia Artist.
Yep. Which, like, hey, I'll take it.
But I'm thinking Manifesting, Rom V will be nominated next year for Best Author and will win.
The Many Deaths of Laila Starr.
Many Deaths of Laila Starr will definitely be nominated.
League, Dark. Anything this man does deserves all of it.
Best Writer and Artist. So this is for those that do both. Junji Ito, obviously well deserved.
Mm-hmm.
Best Penciler and Inker went to Michael Allred for David Bowie. Mm-hmm. Stardust, Ray Guns, and Moon Age Daydreams, which I'm surprised because I thought that came out like 2 years ago.
In 2019, but maybe because of 2020 and the like shit show that was 2020, maybe. And I think that his wife
won for Best Colorist.
For Best Colorist on that, and I think something else as well.
I will say, Best Cover Artist. I mean, we all knew who was going to win Best Cover Artist, and rightfully so. Best Cover Artist ended up going to Peach Momoko because, let's be honest, she's got, like 35, 40 covers out every month?
Yeah.
It feels like she's insane. So, and she not only does she do so many covers, but I didn't realize that last year she was part of the Stormbreakers for Marvel Comics. And if you don't know what Stormbreakers is, Marvel goes and, crafts and curates artists and then kind of features them in cover work or in interior work. Kind of like how DC does their, what's the word I'm looking for? They do their kind of DC New Talent Showcase. It's very similar for Marvel side. And obviously Marvel was right on that one because she is everywhere. I mean, she has done covers for every publisher at this point.
Yeah.
Best Coloring went to Laura Allred. Best Lettering went to Stan Sakai, which I'm actually kind of upset because I feel like
that's Usagi
Yojimbo. I wish Adita Bidikar had won because they are on every single book right now. They feels really like. Are. Yeah. Those are the really big ones. There's other ones like Best Publications, Best Humor Publications, which
Can we talk about Best Journalistic Publication?
Yes.
Went to Women Write About Comics.
Hear me out. I didn't know that was a category. I would like us to be nominated for next year's Eisners for Best Comic Journalism. Like, hear me out, guys. We need you. When those Eisners things open up, we need you guys to nominate us because I did not know that we could win that award. And now that I know it exists, I want it really bad.
Is it really just going to be like women talking trash about comic writers? Hear me out. Either that or can we get Best Humor Publication? Because this is clearly a humor show.
We'll take Best Humor Publication. I just want an Eisner. I just think it would be cool. Why not?
I really just want to say, like, there's been lots of really cool comments in the chat. I really appreciate every single one of your comments. Please keep commenting. However,
we see them.
I'm just gonna keep Swamp Thing up there for no other reason than it's just fucking Swamp Thing.
How would you feel? What would be your reaction if Swamp Thing was nominated for best limited series, because it is 12 issues?
Mm-hmm. I think 10. I think it's 10.
What would be your thoughts if it was nominated for best limited series?
I would 100% agree with it. Like, duh, Romvi, duh, Swamp Thing, get it. But I would also have to say, like, what else is it going up against? And I will keep saying this until I'm dead. I want Ronnie Barnes to write Swamp Thing also. So, like, whatever iteration of Swamp Thing comes after this, I need Rodney Barnes on Swamp Thing.
Oh, C-List E-Man just said it would be going up against Nice House on the Lake. But think about it, it would also be going against Many Deaths of Laila Starr.
Many Deaths of Laila Starr. I know I keep saying this, my favorite series this year. I was called out by people who I thought were my friends on Comic Talk Live. I do a show on Fridays with Will the Beast and Fire Guy Ryan and Tessa, and they were all basically like, yeah, it's good, Jennifer, but the Many Deaths of Laila Starr isn't that good. And I'm like, why are you yelling at me like this? Yeah.
It'll be
Robbie, thank you. We can be friends.
It'll be, after only reading one issue, but hearing you talk about it, it's gonna get nominated.
I hope so. So speaking of which, maybe this is just an excellent segue. Do we have any other topics to talk about?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
Well, then, you know what, folks? It's that time of the fucking day where we're going to talk about the books that came out. Many Deaths of Laila Starr issue 4 did come out. This is the penultimate issue. I was asked on Comic Talk Live if someone were to come into my home, my little tiny ass apartment, and if someone tried to, they were either going to rip up a copy of The Many Deaths of Laila Starr or rip up a copy of Swamp Thing by Ram V. Which one would I protect?
That's so violent. They're just coming into your home and ripping up your comics?
Hear me out. My apartment is tiny, but it is very disorganized. You'd have to find it first. Second of all, I would know where the foily boy is, and I would just blind you in your eyes with the foily boy, and then I would give you paper cuts from the comic. So there you go, comic book paper cut.
That's rough.
Yeah,
that's rough, buddy.
Mm-hmm. So watch out. If you try to come rob me, I will fight you, and I will also have cats who yell at you for crunchies, and they're violent. When they don't get crunchy treats, they're very violent.
Love that. Love that. You have your own ADT system there.
I do. It's delightful. They wake me up every morning at like 3 or 4 in the morning, every morning. So anyways, Many Deaths of Laila Starr is really good. Issue number 4 came out this week. Laila Starr finally gets, she's had some intimate moments with Darius. Is it Darius? The guy who's going to basically, invent a way to stop death. We find out why in this issue, and it's heartbreaking. And you see this like moment of fear in Laila Starr, and it's just a beautiful moment. I know I'm going to cry next month when issue 5 comes out. So,
and then it's going to be the end of the series, and you're going to be upset.
Yeah, I'm going to be very upset, and then I'm going to be like, Rob V, I need like more Swamp Thing or more something. I really want to know, Ram V, I know you're watching the show because I know that you're continually, I'm auditioning continually to be your assistant, and that's why you watch the show each week, because this is my audition to become your assistant. Please let me know what else you're writing. I love it so much. Please. So other than there's so many books.
There's so many books. So many books.
For all the money that I saved last week, I spent it this week.
Oh no. So since we're talking about Boom, I think we should just jump over to the other Boom title this week.
Boom, let's do it.
We finally got the first issue of Dark Blood, and I fucking love this cover so much. This cover is so cool and so amazing, and I want a whole book that's just like this. I really do.
You know, I appreciate your opinion on that a lot, but I disagree. I think that cover is so different than like what I expected from the book.
Oh no,
Like
100%.
tonally, it's so different.
Two totally different books. So Dark Blood. Honestly, listen, if you watch Lovecraft Country, if you like Lovecraft Country, you picking up this book is a no-brainer. It honestly feels like this book is just a continuation of Lovecraft Country.
It does, which is sad
in the best way.
Lovecraft Country isn't going to get a second season now.
Boo.
Which is really sad. But we are also going to get Majors. Is his name something Majors?
Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors is Kang, which is pretty darn cool.
Pretty dang cool. So Dark Blood, I really wanted to love this first issue. This first issue went by so insanely fast that I didn't realize it was over until I shut the book, and this needed to be longer. Like, this is going to be a really great book to trade read. But I'm personally not going to pick up the next issue because it is only 6 issues, and it's only 6 issues. And if you can't grab me with a first issue, I don't know. I like this series. I want to read more of it. It's not going to be one of those series that I personally can read month to month. It's one I need to read in one sitting.
I really enjoyed this series, but it did leave me wanting more. It did, like it really did feel like it went by really fast, and I feel like this could have been like twice or three times as long, and maybe that's just because the writer Latoya Morgan wanted their idea to be bigger, and they had to cut it down to 6 issues. So maybe that was just some like editorial things that could have been done. But I still will be picking up issue 2 and probably whatever dumb variant cover comes out.
It's a good book. Don't get me wrong. It's written very well. It's paced very well, even with it being as short as it is. There is a I don't want to call it a cliffhanger, but the way that the book even ends leads off for something to be wanted. We just all know how picky I am when it comes to my pool list issues. So as soon as this is solicited in trade, absolutely going to be picking it up. But it is going to, like I said, I can't stress enough. If you liked Lovecraft Country, you have to pick it up because they go hand in hand. They really do.
They do. Very similar themes. This man comes back from World War II, or he's having like flashbacks of World War II. So anyways, like after work one night, he's going home, like walking to his car, and ends up there's a white man who comes up to him and is basically like, "You're in the wrong part of town, buddy. Like you shouldn't be out here, and like you should be respecting me." And basically pulls a gun. He has powers. I guess powers that he got from this event that happened in World War II as a pilot. So like there's kind of flashbacks to that. I thought that was interesting, but literally like those couple of sentences I just like uttered out is it. Like that's pretty much all we get. It did need to be longer, but that's why I'm in it for issue 2.
Mm-hmm. It was very, very simple, very, very straightforward.
Yeah.
Very straightforward, which I personally enjoy with my baby goblin goopy brain. And maybe that's why I wanted it to be longer, because I was enjoying it. And by the time, I was like really, really invested, it was over.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Well, what else? Was there anything else from Boom Studios? I have a Dark Horse book here.
I have nothing else from Boom.
Okay, well, let me go ahead and pull this Dark Horse book out right here. I don't know if you ever got a chance to read the first Harrow County, but it's a book that came out maybe like 6 years ago, 5 years ago. And Cullen Bunn, I feel like, suffers from doing a lot of different titles that feel very similar, but like they're always that like horror mystery type things, and none of them really like end up breaking out. Like I feel like Cullen Bunn hasn't had like a serious breakout like story. But But anyways, that's besides the point. He's actually a really good writer. I just feel like he could be as good or he could be as well known as like Donny Cates. I feel like he needs, I don't know. So anyways, Harrow County was a really good book that came out several years ago. This one is a new series that's based off of that. I'm not really sure why they decided to do that, but it's pretty cool. I liked it, but I definitely think you need to read the first Harrow County to get the Fair Folk.
I had read or tried to read the first trade of Harrow County and could not get into it. I think I got through the first issue and decided that I wasn't into it and closed it. But you really hit the nail on the head with Cullen Bunn, where it feels like every book that he's written is the same, and it feels like he's got this spinny board where he kind of just chucks ideas at it and picks one. And unfortunately, they're all the same idea, so they all kind of start to blend together.
Yeah. E-Man, I agree. I love Phantom on the Scan, but when it comes to these books that Cullen Bunn is writing, I don't think that he's writing for mainstream comic book readers. I feel like it's definitely more like obscure indie writers that truly appreciate his work. I would love to see something get him the spotlight that like James Tynion gets or that Donny Cates gets.
Agreed.
That's hear me out.
Hear me out.
Hear me out.
I did have a Dark Horse book this week, but I did not read it yet. Because I forgot that I added this to my pool. It's Apex Legends Overtime #2 because I am the gamer girl and Apex Legends is one of my favorite games right now. So hi, Jen has disappeared because she does not like the gamer girl. I am just picking these up single issue by single issue. I haven't really been reading them. I'm probably going to read them all together when they all come out. But much like the Overwatch comics, I'm picking up Apex comics. So there's that. You didn't miss much.
Okay. I heard Apex comics and I'm like, screw that. I don't want to be here anymore. No, I'm just kidding. There was, do you have any other indies? Because I know that there's some image books or an image book that we want to talk about.
I have another indie book that I can talk about briefly. It is Alice in Leatherland #4 from Black Mass Studios. I love this series. It is like my favorite series right now. It makes me feel mushy gushy things. It makes me so happy. Also, yes, we will definitely run. We will run together. Listen, I am that person you want on your team. So hit your girl up. We got that crossplay going now. So we'll get a game in.
I love this.
Alice in Leatherland is just, listen, it's, I don't want to compare it to Sunstone, but it's that book that's like, it just makes you happy. It makes you feel good. There's some stuff that happens in this issue that, this is the, how do you say it? What is that big word? Pentitulate, pentolmulate.
The penultimate. So it's the one before the last. Yep.
It's the penultimate issue, I believe. I'm going to be really sad when this book ends because I really do love it so much. But what's even more exciting about this book is there's an ad on this book for an Image Comics title that's coming out in November. And it's literally just a chaotic LGBTQT road trip. And I'm like, hey, I'm here for this.
Okay.
Give me all the gays. It might be, it might not be. I don't know, but I will take all of the gays. Listen, give me all the gays. All the gays.
Yeah. Sent copies to a lot of folks, and I agree. I think that this it's wholesome, and that's what I do like about it.
You know what my one complaint is about this book, and I was thinking about it when I was reading it. In issue 1, we are introduced to the 2 sex workers that Alice lives with.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see more of those sex workers. I want to see more about their life and what goes into them. Hear me out.
What goes into them? Do you really want to see?
No, like what?
You've got to pay for that.
I hate this.
You've got to pay sex workers.
Yes, we pay your sex workers. And tip them too. Hear me out. Give me a spin-off title about her 2 housemates.
Okay.
And what goes on about their life, because I'm sorry, they just seem to live such interesting lives, and I want to know more about them. Is that too much to ask?
Then they're probably the main characters in the story. I would appreciate that a lot because I think that one of my main criticisms of that story is like I think it was issue 2 whenever she starts working at the sex shop and she's like, "What's all this?" Like, y'all, if if I went to a shop like that and someone had no clue what they were doing, I'm like, that's when I would go full Karen and I would be like, I need to speak to your manager.
Listen, Jen, we all start somewhere.
I get that, but that's not the time to start working at a place like that.
It's not, but you got to do what you got to do. And she was offered a job, so she's trying her best.
Okay. I agree. Well, then maybe what, because she is a kid's author, maybe what she needs to do is she needs to start writing some like slash fiction. I feel like that would be, a cool job.
Be a cool job.
Yeah. 100%. What else did we read this week? There
was one book that people want us to talk about. Should we just do it?
I guess we'll just go ahead and do it. And I'm just going to go ahead and warn you, folks, that Mars earlier today when we were backstage was like, Jen, there was a book that I hated this week. And I'm like, it was this one, wasn't it? I loved this book, but tell me why you hated it.
I hated this book.
Tell me why you hated it.
All right, first of all, I'm tired of seeing AAA. No, those are games. I'm tired of seeing A-list actors fucking write comic books unless they're Patton Oswalt. Patton Oswalt can write as many comics as he wants.
I love Patton Oswalt. Please.
I had to preface that because I knew that if I didn't include Patton Oswalt, you'd be like, but what about Patton?
Hold up. So like, I'm just saying, like, yes, like I have a thing for Patton Oswalt 100%. Like 10 out of 10 would smash. Patton Oswalt, if you're watching, that's a threat. That is, so anyways, but are we really saying that Patton Oswalt is an A-list? Like, he's a great comedian. I think that he's a fun actor. But when I think about, like, Keanu Reeves, Emilia Clarke, Patton Oswalt, okay. Like, I get it.
Okay. So, but you know what I mean. So
anyways, Emilia Clarke, Mother of Dragons.
First of all,
Khaleesi, first of her name of the undying, unborn, whatever.
When we talk about this book is more than just Emilia Clarke. This book is also Marguerite Bennett and Laila Lees.
Laila Lees.
So if I see y'all on the internet talking about Mom, Mother of Madness, and you're only crediting Emilia Clarke, y'all better check yourself and edit your tweets and add Marguerite Bennett and Laila Lees in there. That's all I gotta say. I wanted to like this book. I wanted to like this book. The first couple pages of this book, I absolutely adored. And I was like, I'm here for this. I'm in it. I want 40 more volumes of this. And I saw I didn't see Emilia Clarke. I honestly saw Marguerite Bennett and her writing and just that style that I'm accustomed to from her, where it's full force, good feminism and fun feminism, like we saw from Insects, like we saw from DC Bombshells, like we even saw from Animosity. Yeah. It felt like she was back on her throne, because I feel like Marguerite Bennett has been taking a hiatus, and if so, good for her. She deserves it. But I also miss you. Please come back and write a million things again. Yeah. But then the book keeps going, and it devolves.
It's a long book. It's a
long book. It's $6. It's pretty thick. It's got this hardcover.
$6.99. So there's a 6 and a 9 there.
Is it? Because mine's only $5.99.
Maybe. Sorry. Maybe I'm probably wrong.
Her joke failed. Her joke failed, guys.
Don't tell me that. I need to go pay $1 more now.
So basically, Mom, Mother of Madness is about this girl who develops superpowers. And I hate this. I hate this so much. Her superpowers are evolved from her emotions. And I'm just like, how stereotyped women can we get with this? When she's sad, she can heal herself. When she's angry, she becomes super strong and super fast. Anxious, she gets supersonic hearing. When she's scared, she's invisible. Where have I seen that one before? When she's happy, she can super stretch. And when she's at the peak of her powers and all emotions are go, her eyes blaze gold, and she is known as the Pinnacle. What kind of manufactured, corporate engineered feminism bullshit have we gotten in this book? Because that's how I feel about Mom, Mother of Madness.
I do have some feelings. I think that I liked this story. I thought that this story had a lot of heart. I want to know how you felt about Captain Marvel.
Oh, the movie?
Hmm.
Oh, same way. Honestly, the way I feel about this book is the exact same feeling I felt with Captain Marvel. It felt like corporate manufactured feminism. I didn't even
So
realize that, but they are the same feelings. I know now where I felt this way before.
here's what I have to say. I enjoyed this book. I went in, we ended up getting a preview from someone. So if you're in the chat, thank you. You're probably not here because I think I saw that you're. Anyways, we got an advanced copy of this, so I did read a little bit of it. Didn't finish it because it's a long book. So I knew what it was going to be going into it, but I felt like it had so much story. My one criticism of this book is that Amelia Clark in the end of it is like, oh, I loved writing this book. I'm like super, super feminist. And it just felt like all those fucking celebrities.
Just to be clear, Jen is referencing the author note from Amelia Clark that I'm 99% sure Amelia Clark did not write herself.
Yeah. So I mean, but let's not so Amelia Clark basically does say like, oh, I'm so glad that I got the chance to write this, and that's what makes comics so magnificent. They are for everyone. I get that, but I'm like, come out of your fucking ivory tower and come tell me that. Like, if you really want to be all about this feminism bullshit, like, we've got to dismantle like all the systems of oppression, girl. Like,
yep.
Take your white savior feminism somewhere else. And put a person of color in here that isn't just the sidekick, maybe, or like an afterthought or someone that you work with. So anyways, I did like this book. I know that like you trashed it and I'm semi-trashing it. I really did enjoy it. It's only going to be 3 issues. The next one better be $6.99. If I ever do comics, when I come out with Batman Year 18 Barely Legal, you bet your bottom butt dollar it's going to be $6.99.
I will say this. If you are thinking of trade waiting for Mom Mother of Madness, do not, because they just solicited the trade this week. The trade is going to be $25, whereas the individual issues, there are only 3 of them at $5.99 a piece. That's $6. Listen, I know I'm bad at math,
18.
but that is only $18 compared to $24. So if you do want to read Mom Mother of Madness, pick it up in the single issues. Don't wait for the trade.
That's kind of weird. Well, apparently, you'll probably be selling your copies.
Yeah, if anybody would like a copy of Mom Mother of Madness, you can DM me. I'll sell it to you for $3.99 right now, guaranteed. I actually did consider picking up all 3 just because the trade is going to be more expensive, but I just did not enjoy this. I wanted this, and we talked about this backstage. Those first couple pages felt like what Man-Eater should have been.
And that's why I think that I liked it. That's why I think that I liked it, because I thought that it was better than Man-Eaters.
I think they're both equally bad.
Oh, goodness.
I think they're both equally bad. Listen, y'all want a really good feminist book? Read Insects by Marguerite Bennett. I keep talking about this book. I need y'all to read Insects because it's really, really good.
You hear that? You hear that, folks?
Did you have any other Image titles this week? Now that I'm done trashing that one book,
I did. I had 2. I'm trying to find them here because my stack, I'm realizing now, is so fucking heavy on DC. Like,
it was a big DC week.
it's a big DC energy week, y'all. I did have 2. I had 3. And 2 of them I didn't even read. You know what? Let's do this. I did get Philadelphia. Still haven't read it. It's literally like been at the bottom of my pile, but I did get this sweet Paul Pope cover, y'all.
You're going to be proud of me. I finally finished volume 2.
Oh, heck yeah. So now you've only got now that we're almost at the end.
I've only got volume 3, but in previews this week, they did announce we are getting a Philadelphia spinoff title, which should be very, very exciting.
Huh.
So,
What spinoff title is this?
I have to look it up, but it has to deal with the horrors coming out of Maryland since the main character is now in DC. So, or not DC, in Philadelphia. Duh, that's the name of the book, Mars. Way to go. But yeah, we are getting a spinoff title for Philadelphia, so it's going to be pretty exciting.
Dang. Well, another one that I did get, I haven't read it yet. Homesick Pilots. I got this one. I don't even think I got the A cover. I just got this one, which is the variant.
Mm-hmm.
So I did get that, and then I got, and I can't even find it here. I got Siphon, and I can't even remember. You know what? I'm not even gonna worry about it because I can't even remember what it was about.
Mm-hmm.
Did you? You didn't read it, did you?
I didn't even read the first issue because
So this was the first issue of Siphon.
Oh, it was the first issue. I'm at this point where if a book doesn't interest me and that just seems like another pulp crime type book, I'm not even gonna try to read it.
It's more like horror
crime thriller. I'm not a crime thriller person. I can't do it. So, you know.
Well, that's what I have for Image. Do you want to go straight over to Marvel? You want to go to DC?
I think we should
where do you want us to go?
I think we should go DC because there's one book from Marvel I want to talk about, and I think we should save it for last.
Okay, will do.
I think that's how we should save it. So if we're going to DC, did you read Catwoman? Because I did not read Catwoman, but this is the most gorgeous cover I've ever seen in my entire life. Jenny Frison owns my heart and my soul.
Yeah.
And I love her. Look at that. Chat. Can I get some booyahs in the chat?
Can we get some amens? Can we get some amens?
Can we get some amens? Can we get some booyahs? Can we get some whatever it is? Because that's freaking gorgeous. Did you read Catwoman? I know you've been reading it for Ram V.
Yeah, of course. So I can't remember his name. Daddy that burns down churches, father, whatever his name is. They get into a fight, and spoiler alert, at the end, Catwoman ends up like drowning, and someone comes to save her.
Who is it?
Batman. Batman comes to save her.
Oh, that's dumb. I should have known that. So, question, does Poison Ivy even show up in this issue? Because she's been in the covers, but every time I look, I don't see her. So maybe are they just doing it for the cover bait?
I think so. Because it's very much backstory.
Oh, got it. I see. It's bait. That's bait.
It's kind of like Red X. Like, we'll never know.
Red X. Let's talk about something good because I feel like we've been trashing a lot of books today.
I know what you're gonna. If we're on DC and you said good, is it this one?
It might be. It might. I can't listen. This is consistently my favorite book from DC, from Marvel, from Image. I don't care. Tom Taylor owns my soul as well, and I am so thankful that he is writing Nightwing and making Nightwing an interesting character and just with a lot of heart. We definitely got some change to the Nightwing origin backstory, which I actually think is for the better and works out a lot, and I'm excited to see
what was the change. I mean, I know that, like, so spoiler alert, everyone.
Spoiler alert.
Mystery of Melinda Zuko, spoiler alert, she's
we find out that he has a half sister, which is pretty interesting to me because the thing that I really like about him having a half sister is the way that he interacts with his half sister's mother and how, you know, her mother is just immediately drawn to him and is like, you look so much like him, you know, he would have been so proud of you. And I don't know, I really, really just like the small interaction between these two, and it just proves how great Dick, you know, is. Let me rephrase that. It just proves what a wonderful person Dick Grayson is. And if you're not reading this book, this is the one book that you would be missing out on. They keep going to multiple printings. This is the second printing for issue number 81, which was, I believe it was last month's issue. Yep. And like, look at that. This is so, even the covers are great, y'all. We've got some fantastic reprinting covers out of these. So I just need y'all to be reading Nightwing because it is the one DC book right now that is just absolutely amazing. Read this book.
I 100% agree with everything that you just had to say about Nightwing. But I'm going to break your heart and tell you.
God, here we go.
that this was probably one of my least favorite books that I read this week.
Fair.
And one of my least favorite books so far in this series.
Fair.
I
This was
feel
definitely a slow issue.
it was, and like even though we did get some really cool like backstory, I feel like it's supposed to be the mystery of Melinda Zuko, and I feel like we didn't really even get any backstory on her. We got backstory on her mom, and more so little like kind of spoiler alert like background things for Nightwing. So I wish that it was more centered on her, because I'd actually really like to know her story. And we didn't get that this week. We'll see if we even get it. Tom Taylor. I need to know about her.
I think we will. I will say, I think my one complaint about this issue is the lack of the dog. Also, John, I have a fun story for the chat. Give me 1 second. We'll circle back. But can I please have Haley? Where's Haley? That was my one complaint. There was no Puppo in this issue. Please give me more dog.
Bitewing.
Give me more Bitewing, please. So, all right. Story time about Dick Grayson, because I got to phrase this right. As a child...
Well, I mean, we already all heard you say Dick is great, so...
Am I wrong? Anyway, so, as a child, and when I say child, I want to say like the 4th grade, you know, Teen Titans was running rampant, as it was in most of our childhoods, and I was obsessed with Robin, and I had quite a crush on Robin. And I used to write on, you know, my notebooks, as somebody does, Mars loves Dick. And it was over everything. And my mother got a call from my teacher one day and was like, ma'am, we need to have a talk, because your daughter is writing very inappropriate things on her notebooks and is writing Mars loves Dick. And my mother had to explain to her that it was a superhero character from a TV show that I had a crush on. And then I got a very stern talking to that I had to start writing Mars loves Robin. And so then I had to create my own superhero alter ego. And baby Mars, who knew nothing about X-Men, I called myself Shadowcat, because I figured that I would be the prodigy of Catwoman. Little did I know, 10 years later, that Shadowcat was an X-Men, and I could not take that role. So, fun fact of the day about Mars. It's one of my finer moments.
I feel like this is the best villain origin story.
It is a
like
villain
this could have
story.
Straight up be like your villain origin story, and then like I just imagine. Okay, so here's the thing. Maybe this is the villain plot in Batman Year 18, Barely Legal. Mars gets taken into the principal's office, and because you know you're scrolling like, I love Dick on everything, and then you get a stern talking to, and then you're like, but I love Dick. And then you go and you have this really sad moment, and like you can't believe it, and then like all of a sudden like you see your back in the rain, and then you walk away into the distance, and then scrawled on the wall, Mars hates Dick.
Oh no! Oh no! I still love Dick Grayson to this day, and he could get it. It's fine.
Hear me out. Thank
you, everyone. Hear me out. Thank you for joining us on that tale.
Thank you for coming with us on that ride. I really appreciate it. There were actually other books that came out for DC. One of them I didn't love. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love, and it was kind of disappointing. I really want to know your thoughts on this book, because I feel like you are going to be so much more like expertly. You can school me on, unless you want to talk about a different one.
Which one are we talking about?
A book that I did not like and I really wanted to like that came out this week.
There were two, I thought. This was a book, wasn't it? So, listen, I think I can speak on behalf of the majority of the DC fandom that a Booster Gold Blue Beetle team-up comic is something that we all wanted and needed. Now that it is here, I don't want it anymore, and I wish it would go away. This book was so fucking cringy on so many levels. I think the main problem with this book is the fact that it is being written by a 50-year-old white man. I really do. So this book is being written by Dan Jurgens, who is, granted, it is Booster Gold's creator.
I feel like Dan Jurgens should be the one writing this, though.
But it's not great for the timeline. So I figured, we're seeing a lot of really great DC books right now. We're seeing Nightwing, we're seeing Robin, we're seeing Teen Titans Academy, we're seeing, even Supergirl. We're seeing a bunch of books right now that have very different tones and very fun tones.
Yeah.
And what better way to show off that fun tone than with a Booster Gold and Blue Beetle book? And that wasn't it. And I feel like they tried to, and they failed. So if you haven't read this book, the majority of this book takes place with Booster Gold trying to save the Justice League and live streaming while doing it. Okay.
Yeah, who live streams?
Who live streams? Not us. We would never live stream. Listen, I like that. Booster Gold, hell yeah, would live stream every day, 365. What I don't like were the comments that kept popping through during the live stream. It felt like a 50-year-old white man who didn't really use the internet was writing these comments. You've got things like YOLO. First of all, YOLO died in 2012. Who legally and justly says YOLO anymore? Not me.
Me.
I believe that. You've got comments about the moon landing being faked. What? You have at one point there's a comment about a deep fake, and I'm like, I feel like Dan Jurgens went to the internet and was like, what are the cool hip terms that the kids use on the internet? And he literally took all of them and threw them into a book and regurgitated them onto a book.
If I know anything about live streaming, y'all just say hello to each other in the chat. Like, that's what the majority, like 50% straight up, 50% of the comments on this live stream is just everyone saying hello.
It should have been. Now, I will say, I will say I am featured in this book. I am featured in this book. There is a comment from GG where they are saying that Guy Gardner is the boss. That is my comment. I'm 90% sure that was stolen from my Twitter. Yeah. So, yeah. Was that the GG command commentator, Guy Gardner? Yeah. That's my comment right there, is me. But I just... This could have been one of the most fun books that are out there right now. And what's even really weird about it is this even, if anybody read this book, listen, I know Booster Gold. I'm not as big of a Ted Kord fan. I'm not as big as a Blue Beetle fan. But there's a point where he's at a tombstone and it's Theodore Kord, but it's not Ted Kord, and I'm just like really confused. So is the Blue Beetle that we're getting right now, is it even normal Blue Beetle? Is it a different Blue Beetle? Mr. Gold doesn't know, because at one point they also reference a book. They reference Suicide Squad Bad Blood. Wait a minute. That's right. Ted Kord was a bad guy in Tom Taylor's Suicide Squad. Wait a second. Hold the phone. I am confusion. I need a chart. I need help.
Where's Hickman when you need him? Hickman should be writing this book.
I am confused. Huh. I don't know. It just feels like there's a lot of books right now from DC Comics because we are in this infinite frontier. We are seeing a lot of different timelines, and we'll talk about a book next. We are seeing a lot of different timelines right now within the DC universe that don't all connect, and that's fine. That's great. We see Yara Flor, which is, what I assume would be something in the near future, maybe, or maybe just in its own timeline. I thought that a book like Blue and Gold would also be, and it doesn't seem like it is. I don't know. I'm very disappointed by this book. Can I get a Tom Taylor on this book?
That's honestly how I feel. Like, I know that I feel like we do suffer from like maybe saying the same 3 or 4 people should be writing a book. I 100% think that Tom Taylor this book would do excellent if Tom Taylor was writing it. 100%. It needs to be funner, and I think that either that or I would want to see Chip Zdarsky or Matt Fraction on this book.
Chip Zdarsky and Matt Fraction would be very fun on a Booster Gold.
What
yes.
if Chip Zdarsky and Matt Fraction are Booster?
And Ted Cord. All right, I want this. I'm manifesting this. Please
so
give this
I
to
need
me.
them to write each other. Like, they need to write each other's parts.
Because Chip Zdarsky is definitely Booster Gold and Matt Fraction is definitely Blue Beetle. 100%.
We figured it out,
Holy
guys.
shit.
We figured it out.
We figured it out.
We got it. We did it.
That's great. I love this. I love this so much.
I also, I want to point this out too on this cover right here. On his phone case, it's literally a phone case of them two. Like, I don't know if you can.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. Here's my other thing about this book. I know it's not going to happen. Make them fucking gay, you cowards.
I just want to see them kiss so bad. Like, can we get that? Can we just get them kiss? Once again.
Is it gay if you kiss your homies? Or is it gay if you kiss your homies?
It's not gay to kiss the homies.
It's not gay to kiss the homies goodnight.
No, not at all.
But yeah, I was so excited for this book. Jen knows how excited I was for this book. I literally screamed at her when it was announced how excited I was. So to read this morning and have to struggle to get through it.
I think I might be able to try to go and like reread it. When I didn't hate this book. I didn't love it. But I feel like whenever I see a lot of those, like the live stream comment things pop up on the page, whenever books do that, I tend to just not read them and just forget it. And
but this was so obnoxious you couldn't.
Yeah. Another book that I think did suffer from being a little bit too wordy. And I really did want to like this book because I did actually like the first issue, but issue number 2, it was so much. I can feel that this is such a good story. It's Supergirl, Wonder Woman of Tomorrow. I really want to like this, but I'm just like, it's too much words. This other character, and I can't even think of her name, the other character other than Supergirl in the book, I feel like it's a book about her, and you see that like internal dialogue, what she's saying, internal dialogue, what she's saying, and it's literally a paragraph per panel.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, but I also agree that this is a good book and it needs to be better because this book makes Supergirl likable. This book makes Supergirl fun. Like, she's swearing, she's punching people in the face. She's like, I just want to be with my dog and have booze and have fun.
Which 100% I relate to. I get that.
I relate to it. I will say, while this book does not do the back and forth time jumps that we are used to from Tom King, it does do that at the very end of the book, where it basically, we're working our way backwards throughout the issue. So we start at the end of the issue and work our way to the quote unquote beginning. There's also this really awkward scene, and I hope you agree with me here. There's an awkward scene where it's just a whole page of the girl being taught how to wash her hands. And I'm trying to figure out why. Do they not wash their hands on alien planets? Like, I just feel like that's common decency no matter where you go. But I will say there is a line in this book that I didn't really think of until it was brought to my attention, and I'm kind of like kicking myself in the ass for it before, where our young protagonist, because again, I agree, I don't remember her name and whatever.
And she's the main person. So
she's the main character.
Hear me out. She's basically the main character in Supergirl, even though the book is called Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. This other character who 90% of the thought speech that you see and dialogue is her.
And yet we can't remember her name. But there's a really great moment where it's brought to our attention the question is asked of, when your entire planet was destroyed, did you seek revenge? And Supergirl is definitely one of those characters that could have gone down that path, being young and impressionable, she easily could have gone and sought revenge for her people and just for her people. And the fact that our main protagonist is looking for revenge, the whole story is about her looking for revenge. I kind of like that dynamic, and I like that we're going to be able to see that evolve. And of course, it may or may not be the cliche of, you know, you get all the way to the end of it and then you realize revenge is not the answer. But if that is the case, that's okay, because it's that whole Alfred Hitchcock bomb under your seat where you're expecting it to go off. And so you're more so invested in the journey than you are in the outcome. So when I first started this book, I was like, I'm going to drop this from the pull list. But when I got to the end of it, I was like, I'm going to give it another issue. I'm going to keep going. It is only 8 issues compared to Strange Adventures, which is 12. And I'm desperately waiting for that one to end so I can read it all in one go. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't hate it. This is definitely not a Batwoman and Catwoman, or a Batman and Catwoman. But it's no Mr. Miracle either. I feel like it's caught somewhere in the middle.
For sure. One of the things that I want to bring up really quick, because this book right here, at the end of the first issue, you find out that is it Crypto, her pup, ends up getting wounded at the. I'm going to go ahead and also say this, spoiler alert, because it's sad spoiler alerts. So at the end of the first issue, we find out that that Crypto gets shot, wounded, and then towards this whole story, we find that instead of Supergirl like going and like seeking revenge, she ends up like going to a healer person. Spoiler alert once again, gonna get your heart broke, folks. The puppy doesn't make it.
I thought he whoa, I thought he did. Whoa.
I thought the puppy didn't. No.
I thought he did. Hold the phone. I thought he did. He's got bandages. He could. Yeah, he could save it.
I thought that the puppy did not get saved.
I think they are going to look for stuff.
Yeah. So right down here, later I was by her side as she stroked the sick dog's face. I saw her tears fall. She said in the chaos of all, she couldn't even remember Krem. She asked me if I could recognize him. Hold on. He could save the pup, but he would need a hefty sample of the original poison for each hunter. As Krem of the Yellow Hills was nowhere to be found, the animal was lost. So they're saying that the dog could have been saved, but the person who went to kill the dog was the only person, or the person that killed the dog was the only one that had the antidote for the poison, or the poison, so the dog couldn't get saved.
I was under the impression that they are now going. No, I think that, because Scott agrees with me, I think they leave it a little open. I think that they are going to look for this person to get the healing stuff and not the revenge. Like, they have an alternative motive now for finding this person other than just, we're going to kill you. Like, it's one of those race against the clock sort of situations. I'm saying that's how I'm taking it, because you can't kill Crypto the super dog. I won't allow it. Tom King, you can kill Alfred. I'm okay with that. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot kill Crypto.
But you know, that to me gives a much more interesting story, because in this, Supergirl is now basically John Wick.
Nice. Good for her.
Yeah, good for her. My impression was that the dog died. So we'd read two very different, or we ended on two different
we ended on two very different notes.
Tom King, I know you're watching, because
Tom, I need clarification.
I meet you at Starbucks in my dreams. And thank you for writing Green Arrow in my dreams. I need you to tell me if you just want to come into my dreams tonight, and if you just want to softly whisper in my ear and let me know whether or not this dog is dead, please and thank you.
I'm definitely tweeting Tom King after this episode. If you guys would like to rally around me and like said tweet when it goes out, just so we can bring it further to Tom's attention, because I need clarification. Is the dog alive? Is the dog dead? I just need to know. It's that Vine where it's like, can I pet that dog? But it's like, is that dog dead?
Is that dog dead? Can anyone please get a hold of Tom? Get a hold of Tom King right now. please tweet at him.
Get Tom on the phone.
Get Tom on the phone right now. I need to know, is Crypto dead or not? Also, thank you for writing Supergirl as John Wick in this case. So, yeah. Also, someone please get Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky on the phone, because we need them to be writing Booster Gold or Blue and Gold. So
we do. Now there was one other DC book this week, because as we stated before, it was a very heavy DC week. I wasn't even going to read this, and somebody gave me a digital copy. It is so I'm just going to go like this and pretend that I have it here. Oh, nice, you have it. It is nice. I'll take that. It is Superman and the Authority. By Grant Morrison and Michael McCall. Dan says Michael. I have to say McCall. I think it's McCall Janin. I will say this. Hear me out. Hashtag hear me out. Thank you for drawing the beefiest motherfucking Superman I have ever seen in my life. I like the Superman with a touch of gray. And I really enjoy that. Now, here we go. Devil's Advocate. I kind of like this book. Okay, I didn't love this book. I didn't like this book. I tolerated this book. I didn't hate this book. I just kind of went from start to finish. Was like, oh, okay. I'm sick and tired of evil Superman stories. Can we please stop having evil Superman stories? I am exhausted and tired. There are a million other superheroes out there. Like, see an evil Wonder Woman story. I want to see an evil Batman story. I'm tired of evil
Batman.
Superman.
Batman Year 18 will be evil Batman. And maybe Batman is the one who loves Dick. Maybe that's his villain origin story.
Not only that, but Superman and the Authority starts off in the most bonkers, bizarre way, and I can't stop thinking about it. So I'm just going to bring it to the forefront. So Superman apparently is best friends. And this is real. This is not a fever dream.
No.
Superman is best friends with John F. Kennedy. Not only is he best friends with John F. Kennedy, but he was not able to stop the assassination of John F. Kennedy because he was helping people on the moon. I want to live in this alternate timeline where Superman and John F. Kennedy were best friends. Who thought of? I mean, I know who thought of it. It was Grant Morrison.
Grant Morrison.
Why? Why did you think of this? Sweet angel. Why? Please. I just want to think. I want to know. John F. Kennedy. At least it wasn't Ronald Reagan, because I feel like a lot of people would go that route and make Superman friends with Ronald Reagan.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, I'm not reading that.
As much as I'm just like not... I'm not a huge Superman fan, but like to me, that's Superman evil, is him being BFFs with Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, no, I don't like that, Dank. I don't want that. I wasn't okay with that book to begin with when there was a black man in chains on it. Yeah. So, not a fan of. Was Wonder Woman Year 1 also Grant Morrison? I feel like that was also Grant Morrison. Yeah, Grant. What the fuck are you doing? Especially because we read a couple months ago Proctor Valley Road, and I actually kind of enjoyed Proctor Valley Road, and now we're going back to the same old weirdo. But I'm not okay with it.
I do love the same old weirdo stuff. I think that Grant Morrison, I watched a documentary about Grant Morrison and how they are, like where their background comes from. And one of the things that I really appreciated was that Grant Morrison, because of their father being in the war, ended up growing up like pretty anti-war as a pacifist. And I think that like seeing some of that in their writing, especially We Three, to me is very like anti-war. So I do think that comes through for me in this in a very subtle way, at least maybe anti-violence, but you know, I think that the Authority is going to be a little bit more violent. Anyways, I really liked this. It's only 4 issues, which is not too bad.
There's no Midnighter, though, in the first issue. So if you're going into it looking for Midnighter, which I was, prepared to be disappointed. However, again, Superman, touch of gray.
Daddy Superman, Daddy Kent. Ooh.
I like this. I would like 20 more issues of just that.
Yeah.
I very much like that. So that's everything for DC. Now we're going to jump over to Marvel.
I literally have one Marvel book here in front of me.
I have two.
Fuck.
I'm proud of myself.
There's one we want to, I think, talk about at the later. So what's the other?
Why am I still reading this? I keep saying every
What book
issue.
is that?
Darth Vader.
I got that one too.
I keep saying for the past like 3 issues since we started this whole War on the Bounty Hunters shit that I'm going to drop this book. And while I did not hate this issue nearly as much as I hated it last month, I want the magical Marvel goodness that was Greg Pak's Darth Vader to come back, because this ain't it, Chief. I hate tie-ins from Marvel. I hate that Marvel is forcing tie-ins into my Star Wars comic books. And this just is not fun right now. And I want Darth Vader back. So I know I keep saying that I'm going to stop reading it, but like at this point, I feel like there's only 1 or 2 more issues left of this War of the Bounty Hunters bullshit. And that's what I'm going to call it, because it is bullshit. Sorry to disappoint you, Chaos and Comics. But this is not a good time. I'm not feeling it. Please give me back regular Darth Vader.
There was another one that I got this week, and just for reference, because you saw my big stack of books. These are all the books that I haven't read yet this week, so there's still quite a few of them. One of them that I did end up getting, haven't read it though. Jabba the Hutt. I am gonna read this just to do the work to figure out if Hutts have butts.
Hutts have butts.
That's award-winning journalism right there. So women write about comics, you're doing good work. You definitely deserve that Eisner Award, but I'm here to take the spot next year to tell you folks if Hutts have butts. So.
Hutts have butts.
Yeah.
He does, Swallow the Hutt does make an appearance, a very small appearance in Darth Vader number 14.
Really?
So we are continuing with Swallow the Hutt. So, maybe Swallow will pop up in Jabba. You'll have to let me know.
I will.
Maybe we'll get the origin of Swallow the Hutt.
I'm literally going to read this right now on screen. I'll save y'all. I'll save.
She's going to save. So did you have any other Marvel books other than the one that we're going to finish with?
I have a couple here, but I haven't read them, so I'm not really gonna like.
What did you pick up though?
Okay, so I got this one that looks really cute. It's called Orcs in Space, and there's clearly some like Star Trek ripoff characters on the front there, so I had to have it. It's really cartoony. Like I said, it looks kind of Star Trek based, which I'm a fan of. I picked up Alice in Leatherland, haven't read it. Queen of Skulls, haven't read it. I got Transformers My Little Pony. Haven't read that yet.
But you haven't read it? That's shocking. I would have thought that would have been the first one.
I also got Black Hammer Reborn. I haven't read issue number 2, haven't read. I also got Alien number 6, number 5.
Why do you keep doing that?
I also got Scream.
Okay.
I don't remember really ordering that. I also got Marauders. I also got this one. This one's from last week, but it's called Over the Ropes, and it's by Mad Cave. It looks like a wrestler who looks like the Crow. Who knows? And then this, I think, is also from last week, but Tarna.
Love her.
Tarna. I don't know how to
love
pronounce
her.
that. I love the covers by Christian Ward. I did also get, I got, the next book that we're going to talk about. I got a couple variant covers. I got some other books.
I'm sad my shop didn't have the variants I wanted.
Oh, really?
Big sad.
Aw. One of the books that I do want to talk about really quick, and I know that we've both really, really liked the next book that we're going to talk about after this, but I picked up this book by Scout Comics, and I really, really like it. It's called Lunar Ladies. So this cover looks kind of fun, like you see this woman in a spacesuit, but in this book, all women have gone to Mars. That's my impression, is they have all gone to the planet Mars. And let me see here. But the art style in this book just blew me away, because it's really got this like retro. I'm going to go ahead and blow myself up. Hold up. But like, Look
Ooh.
at this like really cool, just like retro weirdness. Like
Yeah, I love that.
I really, really liked it. That's Lunar Ladies by Scout. Let's see, exit solo layout. So, and I read it and I actually really enjoyed it. So like all these women end up, they're like all on Mars or the moon and they've colonized it. And I guess they're on the moon. Sorry, not Mars. They're on the moon. Ducks. They're Lunar Ladies. Duh, Jennifer. So anyways, they've colonized the moon and it's only women there and they're all just like badass ladies and I really liked it a lot. I really want to see more of it. So this is one of the like Scout comics that the story and both the story and the writing just really, really did it for me. So
Which is something we see from Scout a lot.
yeah, sometimes it's usually either like one or the other. This one 100% did it for me. I may go to Scout's website and see if I can get like a variant. I think that there were some variant covers for this because I really, really liked this book, y'all.
Oh, seems like a good one.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of the moon,
ooh, oh my goodness!
Segue? Look at that
Good
segue. That's a good segue. Speaking of the moon, can we talk about? Oh my god! All right, I hope y'all ready because I'm about to go on a ramble, but it's a good ramble, so it's fine.
It is.
Can we talk about Moon Knight?
Yeah.
I want to talk about Moon Knight so bad.
Look at that cover. You see, I think that you got one of the best covers.
I want to talk about that. I want the Scotty Young one so bad, and the one that you're holding there, that one's gorgeous. I love Moon Knight. All right, let's preface. I fell in love with Moon Knight because of a little book written by Jeff Lemire. Which, if you have not read this book, please read this book. I always had this what's the word I'm looking for? Association that Moon Knight was basically Marvel's Batman, but not quite Batman. It was what they wanted.
Yes, yes and no, and
yes and no.
I feel like because some of the backstory with Moon Knight is he goes over to like Egypt and gets he gets fucked up, like beat up or whatever, and then he's brought back to life because he's going to be the savior of, or sorry, the god is it Khonshu? Khonshu. And so he ends up like, you know, worshiping him, but his power is money. Like he really does have a lot of that like technology, at least like in the previous stories, maybe not necessarily this one. His power really is that he ends up getting a whole bunch of money. He's rich, and so he invests all of his money into cool technology and gadgets. So yes, 100% in that way, he is very much like Batman, where his power, his superpower is being rich.
Correct. However, with the Jeff, and that was just always my impression of him as a kid growing up, and not really knowing a lot about Moon Knight, not really knowing a lot about Marvel. And then I read the Jeff Lemire Moon Knight, and I realized that there's a couple of different layers to Moon Knight, and that's pun intended. So Jeff Lemire's run of Moon Knight really does play up the fact that Moon Knight, Mark Spector, has dissociative identity disorder. So he has multiple personalities and he has multiple alter egos. And this book really does a fantastic job of introducing you to those alter egos, giving them all their own personality and character and stories, and then merging them all together. If you have not read this book, please read this book.
That would be like the one where I would say that would be the one that you need to read, in my opinion. Like, don't even worry about going back and reading the original, because it's some of these original stories are really, really hard to get through. But that would be the one where I'd be like, you need to read that Moon Knight.
Correct. This is the Moon Knight. But it can also be a little confusing because there is so much going on. And spoiler, they do a really good job of hiding the fact that he has multiple personality disorder. So if you had never read this book before and didn't know he had DID, it comes as a huge fucking twist. And I remember reading it and being like, what the actual fuck? Not only that, but this book gets really, really emotional and it's really, really great. In regards to this Moon Knight here, all right, so hear me out, hashtag hear me out. If you have never read a Moon Knight book and you don't want to go back and read Jeff Lemire's, understandable. This is the Moon Knight. I feel like this is the Moon Knight that you should start with. This book does such a good job at explaining who Moon Knight is, who Mark Spector is, how he got his powers, how he came to be. And it does it in such a clear and concise way, whereas this one does it, but it does it in a very mystical, mystical, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, not
supernatural,
psychedelic way. So it can be a little confusing, especially for somebody like me, who, as we have established, has goopy gobbo brain. This book makes it so much more simple, and I love that for new readers, because I have had people that I have recommended Jeff Lemire's Moon Knight to say that it is a little confusing, and I get that. This is not it. This is simple. It's clear. It's concise. So where do I start with how much? Let's just start with how much I love this. I just love the way he sits in this book. Is that just something simple that I can compliment? When he sits with his little leg over his leg in his little white suit.
Listen,
that's it. That's it for me.
Daddy Moon Knight, Daddy Mark Spector can 100% sit like that all he wants and tell me that I'm a good girl and give me cute little forehead kisses all day long.
The things that I want Moon Knight to do to me are just anyway. Jen described it perfectly, so thank you, Jen, because I would not have been able to find those. Listen, I am 100%. Listen, I almost tweeted this the other day. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to say it live. I am 100% whoring out for Moon Knight right now. Like 100% would do things.
10 out of 10 would smash.
20 out of 10 would smash. Now that we're talking seriously about this book.
Real comic book journalism here, folks. We know this is what brings you back.
Nominate us for an Eisner. Anyway, the art in this book, let's talk about the art. And then we'll go into the story. The art in this book is absolutely gorgeous. It is so flowing. It is so kinetic. We get two different styles with this. So when we see side characters and villains and backgrounds, it is your traditional comic book art, which is beautiful. And it's for comic book art, it is gorgeous and I love it. However, when we see Moon Knight pop up, whether it's when because I feel like he's Moon Knight, regular Mark Spector Moon Knight when he's in the suit, and then Moon Knight fighting crime when he's in his cape and his cowl and all that. The artwork is made to have Moon Knight stand out in any situation. He flows, he pops because he is the daddy of it all. Mm-hmm. He is the focus of this book, and the artwork and the way that the dynamics of it and the way that it flows, it does not let you forget that this book is about Daddy Moon Knight.
Daddy Moon Knight.
And I love that. And it's I can't think of any book that I've ever read that does this, and it works for this. But I love the idea with this book that Moon Knight has kind of set up his own alias investigations.
Mission, the Midnight Mission.
He sets up the midnight. He's like, "Welcome to the Midnight Mission." To which I say, "Hello, yes, I would like to come inside." That's
my new safe word.
Love that for us. So he has his own alias investigation, and it starts to ground him, and you see him interact with people. You see him interact with his therapist, and he has these long conversations with his therapist, which I think are very, very interesting.
I don't know if that's real. I think that his
You think it's in his head?
I don't think the therapist is real. Because like you do see, and I think that that's like a classic trope. I get it. But because we see the therapist, they're sitting like in his house, right? But then we also see the therapist meeting him on a park bench. Like, who has a therapist on dial like that? Like, do you pay extra?
She's a special Avengers therapist. Maybe she comes out. She even says that she was recommended by the Avengers. So you might be right on your theory, but she does say that she came highly recommended by the Avengers. So
is she covered by the insurance though?
Maybe she's a special on-call therapist.
She's probably out of network, and he's just paying out of pocket.
That's why he has to set up the Midnight Mission.
There you go. When I read the Midnight Mission, I'm like, it reminds me of like Night Vale. Did you ever listen to that?
I didn't, but I am aware of it.
Okay, like I think of Night Vale when I hear the Midnight Mission. I'm like, is this a podcast? Like, am I about to be read like a weird like bedtime story? Which once again, like Daddy Moon Knight will read me a bedtime story and tell me I'm a good girl and kiss me on my forehead, whatever.
Yeah. No, I want everybody. Listen, this is my book of the week. This has the Mars Horny seal of approval. This book was immediately added to my pool. I love Moon. Listen, I'm back to being a hoe for Moon Knight. I'm staring at my little Funko Pop of Moon Knight up there, and I think I might have to move him closer to my bed so I can look at him at all times of the night. But I love this book so much. This book was so good. I'm gonna read it again because it's just, I kept thinking about it and I'm like, bro, and everybody had been saying this book is so good, this book is great, and I'm like, it's probably gonna be your standard Moon Knight book, because listen, after I became obsessed with Mr. Moon Knight, because of Jeff Lemire, I went and tracked down the more modern stories. I tracked down the Warren Ellis story, which is, we don't support Warren Ellis in this house anymore. That one wasn't even good. Max Bemis did a Moon Knight run, and that one wasn't very good. I've been struggling to be like, I love Moon Knight. He's my favorite Marvel character.
But like, can you, other than the Jeff Lemire story, you really can't like justify. Like,
I can't find a book that I really love. This is that book. Hear me out. Oscar Isaac is going to be Moon Knight. Oh, and I'm excited once again.
Beard. Is he getting rid of the beard for this, or is he keeping that beard?
I hope he keeps the beard.
In the words of the great poet Cardi B, he got a beard, and I'm trying to wet it, like 100%.
And just like that, we've been demonetized, folks.
We weren't even monetized in the first place.
We weren't even monetized in the first place. Yeah. Now, Moon Knight, please read Moon Knight. Please, if you're a new fan of Moon Knight, if you want to learn about Moon Knight, if you want to see why we are so horny over the night, please just read fucking Moon Knight. I can't. Please. I will.
I
love him. I love him.
There's a couple people in the chat, like I'm seeing, Sleepy Reader and Gorvidal kind of disagreeing, and I
understand that you have your opinions and you're right to your opinions, but you are wrong, friends. Ooh, I'm sorry. I can't. That's harsh words. I'm gonna fight you on this.
I'm gonna try to be a little bit more diplomatic and say, like, what is it like? Because I know that normally if I hate something, sometimes I can be like, it just didn't sit right with me, or there's a very specific reason. Like, I'm just very curious, like, why. I think that you had mentioned, Gort, you had mentioned a couple of other runs by other creators that you prefer. I understand that, but man, I really enjoyed this first issue a lot.
Hear me out. The way that y'all went fucking crazy about Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil, this is the new Daredevil, I feel like. This is going to be
comparison.
I feel like this is going to become the new hot book. We had Immortal Hulk, and that was the hot book. Then Daredevil came around, and that was the hot book. This is the new hot book from Marvel.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Can I get I don't know, Moon Knight and Daredevil, and I just want them to kiss?
I want them to kiss me.
Yeah.
I am free around 7 o'clock.
There you go.
So
there you go.
Get your girl up.
There you go.
Oh, what is that cover? I haven't seen that one.
I don't know. My shop had several different covers, and I'm like, I think I'm just gonna pick up 3. I picked up the Comics with Bueller exclusive, and I cannot wait to get that book because it is beautiful.
All I know is next week we get a Peach Momoko variant, and that boy is going in a frame above my bed, and I am excited. Yes, it's happening. I love Moon Knight.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is like, those are the books we picked up this week that, like, are single issue comics, but you ended up picking up a whole bunch of other stuff. Is this a library haul? Is this a bookstore haul? Where is this from?
It's like a back issue haul, a little bit of a back issue haul. So this wasn't a back issue, but we went to a shop a little bit away, found a couple books. I did manage to snag the Connor Hawk variant for Robin number 3, or was this 4? Robin number 3, So Josue. I did get it. I'm very excited to own this now in my life. So that's not really a back issue haul, but I still picked it up.
Yeah.
I was able to find this Cliff Chang variant for Darth Knight's Metal. It is a fried pie variant. It's fucking Wonder Woman riding a dinosaur.
I
Like,
didn't even know they made fried pie variants anymore. I mean, I guess
this is older, so they haven't done it anymore. This I found at a back issue, but like, I remember seeing this and wanting to pick it up when it released, and I didn't. And there's another one where she's fighting a dinosaur, so I now need both dinosaur riding Wonder Womans. Can we just get a dinosaur book with Wonder Woman? Like,
yes.
Hello? Can I please have that?
Wonder Woman, year 18.
Wonder Woman year 18. She fights and rides with dinosaurs. This is a cover. So I get really excited when I'm out hunting for books and I stumble upon a cover that I didn't know exist. Usually there's a little involved or a little scream or just like, I make very weird noises at the comic shop. It's fine. It's normal. People look at me weird. It's okay.
I cannot wait to bring you to Portland and go comic book hunting with you here.
It's gonna be a treat.
Yeah.
But hear me out. When you see a cover like this that you didn't know existed, and it's Madeline Pryor and Emma Frost together. I understand it's Greg Land. I know that we're not all friends of Greg Land because he is a porn rotoscoper or whatnot. Not only that, but he's just not a great person to meet. He's kind of rude.
Wait, he's a porn rotoscoper? What is...
apparently, he takes porn images and just draws his characters over them. You've never heard that? You've never heard the story of Greg Land? Please, it is he does. He takes porn models and porn images and basically puts the characters over them and uses them as there's a difference between using them for inspiration and just literally drawing.
We've all got to start somewhere. If I was going to draw, then that would be how I would do it.
But 100%. He's still doing it, and it's been like 30 years. So he's, like I said, he's also not a great person to meet. He's kind of rude and kind of short. So
well, then that's the more important thing.
You're rude.
You're out the door, dude.
But this is gorgeous, and I had to buy it. And then I recently got some books from our friend Nathalie, known as D Comic Queen on Instagram. She has a comic sales page. I believe that is D Comic Queen Sales. Mm-hmm. I picked up some, I guess, Grail books for me because Grail books don't always have to be like $100+ books. So this year I got obsessed with the Old Guard, and I was able to snag issue 1 of the Old Guard, which I'm very excited to now own. I have issue 2 of the Old Guard, which I'm very excited. But the thing I'm most excited for is this variant cover for Old Guard number 2, done by Nicola Scott and featuring Andy. So I'm extremely excited to have these in possession. If you are looking for some books, please go and consider looking at Nathalie's page because she really does have some fantastic stuff, and everything is really wonderfully priced. And
most of the books on there are like even some of there's a couple of like first appearances, and I mean not like big first appearances, but some other like minor character first appearance that are like $5 and $10 on her page. So go to Instagram and it's D Comic Queen Sales.
Yep, D Comic Queen Sales, and then her main page, D Comic Queen. She's a wonderful person and a great person of the community. So there's that. Seriously. But yeah, real rude dudes can go pound sand. So Greg Land, Neil Adams, Rick Mender, Neil Adams, Frank Cho. I feel like I should write a book about just all of my horrible Comic-Con interactions and experiences because I can tell you right now they have all been with white men aside from Frank Cho. But he's still a man. Yeah. But then I should write a book with all of my pleasant Comic-Con experiences.
You do have a lot of pleasant ones. That's how like I feel like you make these like really great comic book connections. So
I try my best, and Comic-Cons are back, and I'm just excited. So very excited.
Well, I think that's everything that I have today. Is there anything else that you have today or that you want to talk about?
I think we captured it. It feels like there was a lot to get through, but that we managed to do it. I don't know. I guess my one final antidote is read Moon Knight.
Read Moon Knight. So, because I feel like we need other people to be like, read Moon Knight, and not just because these bitches are thirsty for Moon Knight. Like,
But I am thirsty.
But we are. But I'm saying we need other reasons to read. I mean, I don't need another reason to read Moon Knight. But if that's our only reason for being like, read Moon Knight, like,
horny for Moon Knight.
Horny for Moon Knight.
Hashtag horny for Moon Knight. Hashtag horny for the moon.
Hashtag lunatic. Moonatic.
Ooh.
I'll work on it. I'll work on it.
Yeah, you gotta work on that. You gotta work on that.
Yeah. Well, folks, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming to Comic Book Church on this Sunday. It's a beautiful day out here today, so I may, I don't know, take advantage of it. Any plans that you have for today? You said you were sleepy. You may take a nap.
I'm sleepy. I might take a nap. Take a nap.
Well, folks, thank you so much for being here. I know, like, I don't know, do I say this enough? Like and subscribe, do that thing, whatever that bullshit is.
Notification bell.
Notification bell if you haven't already. Go buy Moon Knight. Go buy Lunar Ladies also. I will take the last, like, 30 seconds to just say that. Please also go buy Lunar Ladies because it was actually a really fun story, and I think it's only, like, 3 or 4 issues? It was really good. Okay, so bye, friends. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye.